and the discussions if there had been any interconnection with the collapse of the roof. The main result is that there was no connection between the fire alarm and the roof collapse. To give you a short overview, it's important to know how the building is divided. We have here on the violet part the residential building, and beneath there were the back offices in the first floor of the supermarket, and beneath in the underground all the technical rooms. On the left side, the blue one, this was the shopping center where the roof collapsed. We've got here on the left the entrance, and down there in the basement there was the underground parking. So what kind of fire life systems we have here? First of all, we've got a fire detection system with its fire control panel. That's the red one. Then we've got an automatic voice alarm system. That's the green one. A smoke exhaustion system to bring out smoke. That's the violet one. And then, last not least, there is a firefighting system. So, with fire hoses and sprinklers. That's how the firefighting system is designed in Priedaines Str 20. We've got here on the left side the pump station in the basement, from where the supplying of all systems came from. From there, we've got 7 lines went off inside the building. Line 1 and 2 were for fire hoses in the residential building, which was still under construction at this time. Line 3 and 4, the wet systems, were for the sprinklers on the first floor. These pipes were mounted under the roof and under the ceiling between first floor and second floor. Then we've got line 5 and 6. That was a ring system for fire hoses and a commercial part of this building. And as I already told you, these pipes were mounted under the ceiling between basement and first floor. And line 7, these pipes were mounted too under the ceiling of the basement. It's for the sprinklers. What happened on 21st November 2013 concerning the fire alarm system? At 16:21, a fire alarm came from this pump station, and it caused a fire alarm inside the building. It could be located, comes from down, from the basement. Line 6, which is located for the system in the basement. There's a signal, the valve is open. Because of this, the automatic voice alarm system went on. The smoke exhaustion system went on, and the normal ventilation went off. But there wasn't any fire inside the building, though it had to be a false alarm. The security attempted to reset the fire control panel several times. Normally it would work, but in case of the pump station, it doesn't work because the valve is still open. The alarm is already existing. Even if you are exciting the fire alarm mode, it will shortly again come again. All the other detection systems we had here inside the building were still in properly function mode. But because there wasn't any fire alarm, the security called at 16:34 the maintenance company, Fessmann, to come to the site and to check the reasons for this false alarm. At 5:02 p.m., the representative of Fessmann, the technician, arrived at the site. He got a short resume from the security, and at 5:05 he began to check the system. First he separated the signals coming from the pump station, so he could reset the control unit in standby mode. And afterwards, he went to the switchboard room. He put off the smoke exhaustion system. Then he went to the server room. He resetted the automatic voice alarm system. And last not least, he went to the pump station. And he was switching off the water pump. At this time, people came to him informing him that an HVAC room and ventilation room, which is located nearby in the basement under the residential building, that there is water coming out. So he went to this room to check where the water is coming. Noticed it came from the drain. That means from the bottom, so it had obviously nothing to do with the fire alarm system. When he was on his way back to the security to inform about the reasons he saw, then he saw an open fire hose cabinet in the building, in the underground. And that was at 1744. At this time, the collapse of the roof began. What is the reason for the activation of the fire alarm system giving a false alarm at this time? And one possibility could be that there is a small leakage inside a pipe system of the fire hoses. So the air pressure is dismounting, and when the pressure is low enough, then a valve would open. But we've got here a ring system, and we have got here an air compressor who is supplying this system. And even if the air compressor would be defect, so what happens if there is a leakage, a small leakage? So the air pressure isn't dismounting only on a special area, but is dismounting in the whole ring system. So both clappers would have been opened, both valves 5 and 6. But in reality, it was only valve 6 which has opened. So after analyzing the situation, we came to the conclusion that this option appears unlikely. Other possibility, we saw that there's an open fire hose cabinet, and we see that there's some disruption here. So there could be the possibility that someone dismounted the rope of the fire hose from the valve, opened the valve, perhaps to get water, could be a possibility, but that's a speculation, we don't know. Opened the valve, and of course it was a fast, very fast dismounting of air pressure. And this cabinet is nearer at valve 6 than valve 5. So valve 6 opened and gave the alarm. So disturbed by the bell, the person got frightened, closed immediately the valve. For us, that's the most plausible version and the conclusion for this fire alarm, which wasn't a real one, but a false one. If there would have been possible interconnections between the activation of the fire alarm system and the collapse of the roof, could possible movements of the building structure or alterations in the building structure before collapse of the roof activate the fire alarm system? We can say, no, it could not. We've got a fire detection system, not a movement detection system. Fire detection system, an automatic with smoke detectors. if a loose contact, if a break of wires wouldn't cause any fire alarm. It just would send a failure to the control unit. Look, there's a mistake, please check it, change it. The other part, we've got here a sprinkler system. I explained that there are pipes mounted under the roof, but these pipes aren't the pipes for the fire hoses line 5 and 6 where the alarm came from, but there are the pipes from the lines 3 and 4. And even if there would be a leakage inside a wet system, you can be sure that you see that there is a problem immediately, because a sprinkler which is breaking is opening a valve, and such a sprinkler at 1 bar pressure exceeds about 80 liters per minute out on water downwards. Overall conclusions at the end. In all the time, the main fire detecting systems were in full operational mode. That we can see because we got a false fire alarm, and even after restarting or the system, it was still in work. There's no correlation between the collapse of the roof because a fire detecting system isn't designed to anything like this. And the reason for the fire alarm was definitely false alarm, maybe caused or probably caused by personal interference. And both situations, this was mischanged, it was a coincidence.